Welcome to our bits and bolts. It's obviously always a pleasure to have you join us on these bi-monthly, sorry, every second week. And it's obviously a pleasure, as you know. Normally, it is myself and Oman who are hosting these sessions, and we regularly take advantage of some of our other colleagues. And so I'm joined today by a colleague and a friend, Saurav, and I'm sure many of you may have heard Saurav's voice before on calls, but maybe not seen him. So Saurav is one of our technical consultants working out of the Manchester office and covers the UK, European region, and also the African region that I look after. So so very, very helpful, and always a pleasure to have him joining us on Bits and Bolts. So very quickly, mine I'm going to keep quite short. I'm excited to see what Saurav is going to share, and I'll maybe explain these in the opposite way around. And Saurav has got what was known as DEP, now ADE, and I think there's probably been a couple other names that I may have missed, Saurav. But really about the simple way of doing, I guess, what we would call bulk enrollment of devices, Apple devices specifically, into SureMDM. So Saurav's going to cover that. As I said, I'm going to cover just very briefly some updates in our device grid. As you'll know, we often joke about the fact that we are regularly releasing new features and new functions within the SureMDM environment, and we're probably not as good as telling you about some of those smaller ones. So part of the purpose of Bits and Bolts is to be able to share that with you. And so I'm going to cover 5 new data sources that are visible in the device grid. I'll give you just some brief details on them, and then obviously we'll hop over to Saurav. So very quickly, just from my perspective, I took 2 screenshots, but I'm going to show you these within the actual console themselves. You'll see in the top screenshot, I'm going to speak about the 3 that we've added that refer to the last date and time that Ethernet, mobile data, and Wi-Fi are used. So the 3 on the right-hand side of the device grid in the top image. And then the second part that I'm going to speak about is that we refer to as SureLock admin access and SureMDM agent admin access. And I'll expand on those. You see them in the second image that I've shared. So let me hop quickly to my console. Give me a second. Perfect. So as I'm sure almost all of you are familiar with, remember we have the option to be able to customize the columns that are available for individual users, firstly, and obviously within the main admin environment, we have the option to be able to open this column section. And I'm going to search for last, because as I mentioned, the first one I wanted to show is not only the last Ethernet use, the last mobile data use, and the last Wi-Fi use. And you'll see I've enabled all 3 of those. For many of you, you may already be using the last connected, and that was obviously something that was helpful for our partners. Knowing when the device had last connected to SureMDM was a very interesting and very useful bit of information in many of the use cases. But some of our customers were looking for more than that. Some of them wanted to know whether the device was last connected, either on Ethernet, Wi-Fi, or mobile data. And so by enabling these 3 columns, you will see that I'm going to scroll to the right of my device grid, and I'm going to use just my device. And unfortunately, it's only been on Wi-Fi, so there are some values that are not completed. But what this allows me to be able to see is not only the last connected, as I mentioned, but the fact that this device was last connected to SureMDM over Wi-Fi. And you would have noticed, and I'll show you in that image again when I'm finished. In that image, it showed that the device had connected to, I think it was Ethernet after mobile data or Wi-Fi. And so you would have that date and time stamp in your local time to be able to distinguish which was the last connectivity of that specific device. So that's the first one. The second one that I wanted to share was around the admin access. So I'm going to have a quick look under admin. You'll see again, I've enabled both of these on my console, but these really are about a very quick glanced view within the column or the device grid view of SureMDM that gives you an indication as to whether the device is secured in terms of the SureMDM agent. So if you've set a password within the SureMDM agent environment, it will mention that it's protected. And if you've set a password within the SureLock environment, it will show you that it's protected. And for many of our customers and many of our partners, this is a really nice metric because you can search using our advanced search to be able to see whether you perhaps have a device or a group of devices that are not yet secured in perhaps the way that you were expecting to be able to see them. So if I have a look at mine, for example, you will see that my SureLock is still using the default password. So I've left it as the 0000. And in this case, my SureLock admin environment is showing as unprotected, and my SureMDM agent password hasn't been set on my device. So very briefly, just to show you the difference, in this case, I'm going to go and create a job that will allow me to set the agent password. Let me enable this quickly, and I'm just going to make it 4 ones. Okay. Password. Let me save this quickly, and I'll deploy this onto the device, and you'll see obviously straight away my device is now going to show that this particular SureMDM agent running on this particular device is now in a protected state instead of in the unprotected state. And I'm sure while this is happening, just I think for many of us that have been involved in helping customers or helping devices that are ultimately going to be deployed, it's really, really important to be able to make sure that you have not only the SureLock if you're using kiosk protected, but as a second step or as a second layer of protection that the SureMDM agent on the device is protected. So do you see how now my SureMDM agent environment is showing that it's protected? It has a password. It's no longer available by default to the users. And maybe just briefly before I hand over to Saurav, one of the nice parts of changing this as a data set within the device grid means that if I use my advanced search features, I could go and filter this specific column, and in this case, I'm going to search for protected, but filter. Okay, I'm getting not applicable, but I could search for non-protected or unprotected, and that would display me only the devices that are unprotected within that particular search or column field that I'm having a look at. So 5 quite simple features or additions to the device grid, but I think, as I'm sure most of you would agree, who as I said, who have used them, these will be very helpful in a quick glance to make sure that your device is protected. And for I guess more so the troubleshooting of devices when it was last connected and which network or which form of connectivity it was last connected using as well. So I hope that's useful, and many of you can take advantage of that in your day-to-day deployments that you're busy with. Super. Anything to add, Saurav? I'm the beginner at this.
No, I think
Anything on those?
you pretty much added everything related to
Perfect.
admin access.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay.
Good. All right, guys. Well, while Saurav's getting his screen ready, again, just a reminder for those of you who've joined after we did an intro, Saurav is going to chat through the Apple DEP or ADE, basically many different names as it's changed along the line, but really the bulk enrollment or the simple bulk enrollment, or I guess not even bulk enrollment, the simple enrollment method for Apple devices in SureMDM to be able to make sure that you can get those into the console and have them ready to be able to manage in a short and easy way. So
I can say it is a
super.
fastest enrollment of Apple device. Now, why Apple DEP? So it is a fastest method of enrollment of Apple devices. Let it be your iPads, iPhones, TVs, or MacBooks. B, you can enable supervised mode on the devices remotely. So if you see the profiles of any Apple device, it will say that it needs to be supervised, and then if I go into device restrictions, almost most of them are supervised. So this supervised can be done in 2 ways. Either you can manually connect the device to each Mac, run a program called Apple Configurator, and then supervise these devices, or you can do it via DEP. So manually, I won't recommend it. Automatically, yes. The easiest way is to go into settings, click on account settings, and then you access Apple platform management. For enrolling Apple devices, you should have a EPNS certificate uploaded. So you can do that EPNS certificate and then move to ADE, which is Apple Device Enrollment or automated device enrollment, or earlier it was called as DEP. They changed the name every like couple of years. So if I go
just to
into
just to catch us.
yeah, and we can call it Apple Business Manager altogether because the website calls it Apple Business Manager, but the
Yeah,
program that we are referring to is automated device enrollment, and that is because they have added the support for tvOS and macOS into the same. If I click on add, so first of all, I will need to create a ADE profile in which I can give out the details, what exactly is needed over here, and then select the platform. If you have different platforms, you'll have to create a different profile, but it can be common for all iOS, iPadOS. It should be unique for macOS and it should be unique for tvOS. Then you can select all these options, whether supervision is needed or not. I'll say yes, so that all the restrictions my profile should go into the device, and whether your MDM profile can be removed from the device or is it mandatory. Even if you want to select the minimum version of what Apple devices should be enrolled, you can select over here, click on next, and then you have those startup screen, which I would skip it because I don't need my users to see all these screens while setting up, so that the setup process should be faster. You can have something like a passcode and an etc. if you want passcode, or else you can do a configuration from SureMDM. You can select everything, click on next, and then it will ask you, do you want to do an app installation? I say yes, I want to do an app installation. I can search for application. Let's say SureMDM. I select for SureMDM, add it, it will be added, and then I can save it over here. So once this profile has been saved with all my configurations needed for supervision, needed for startup screen, needed for app installation, uh, you can go into ADE server and then create a particular server detail. For example, name, let's say SureMDM. You can give a description. Okay, it includes iOS, iPadOS, and I select default profile that I have created and then click on add. It will be added. Now it will say whether does it has a server token. I can see it's no, so I can select it and I can upload the token. The very first step will be downloading a PEM certificate so that it can be uploaded into Apple Business Manager. I will go to Apple Business Manager, go to my profile, and then preferences, select I want to add device management services, click on add, fill out the details, and I can upload the certificate which I have recently downloaded. Once I do that, automatically this particular section can be added. If I want to show you, I can show you over here. Sorry, there are lots of, I'll just cancel this and then I'll show you onto my console over here.
too much
Yes,
testing.
yeah, Saurav's sure MDM, and then you can last connected, who created it, when it was created, and even if you can download the token and then upload it onto SureMDM console, so that it is kind of it's a server token uploaded, and I can see the device, which devices were. So for example, I have added only one device over here on the device list. Yeah, I can see the number of devices, a list of devices for which the SureMDM configuration is added, and I can push the configuration. So once you push the configuration, device will be ready for enrollment. And whenever you are switching on the device for the first time or resetting the device, it will start in a mode for Apple Business Manager with the configuration that you have saved into your ADE profile, with all those startup screens skipped, with the default application that you want to install, with the profile of SureMDM that you have created for device management. Setting up your MDM configuration on the devices is pretty easy. Either you can use the file or you can select any particular device and then assign any, let's say, you can assign device management, select the device management, and then search for your device management over here. And then you can easily upload it. Click on continue, and automatically this particular device will show up the detail whenever you are assigning it. It will complete the assignment, and then on SureMDM, it will actively show you which device has been configured, and you can view the device detail. See, now 2 devices were added onto SureMDM console. This is how you do the configuration of ADE. And whenever your device switches on, automatically all the configuration goes into the device.
Just a quick question, Sarah, from our side. So on the device itself, the user is required only in a similar format to Zero-Touch, for example, just to connect the device to what essentially would be the
That's
internet.
it.
Am I right in
Yes,
saying that?
correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
So we can we connect it, make it available, obviously online, and at that point in time, the ADE or DEP service will identify the device and give it the configuration that you've already that you've set.
Yeah, it is similar to what Google Zero-Touch provides for your Android, but it is faster than what Google Zero-Touch provides. So in Google Zero-Touch,
Okay.
you see some permissions come up. Here you can like skip every startup screen and etc.
Yeah.
And then you can directly go into device after connecting. It will recognize which device it is. And normally, whenever Apple recognizes any device, it downloads a profile into the settings. Now,
Okay.
to access the profile, you need an application, and that is why I added SureMDM application. Or else, if there was no option over there, I would have to create a default profile in which SureMDM could be installed via VPP. And we can
Understood.
always cover VPP into our next section and how
Yeah. Yeah.
licenses
For sure.
can be
For sure.
managed
For
in
sure.
Apple devices using VPP.
And then just a second question, the PEM certificate, that's a two-step process, correct? You download
Yes,
PEM from SureMDM,
correct.
push that into ADE, and then you retrieve I can't recall the name of the other
Uh,
certificate and push that back into SureMDM.
exactly. Yes.
Okay.
P7 certificate. So you can download it from the token over here. And
Yeah.
then once you download it, automatically P7M
Okay.
token will be downloaded, and you can upload it onto your Apple device management over here. So I
Okay.
think this is
Brilliant.
something which you can see that it expires normally every year. So every
Mhm.
year you'll have to download the certificate from your Apple Business Manager, and you have to upload it onto ADE server. And same goes for
Okay.
your VPP and APNS as well.
And APNS would be handled separately. Am I correct in saying that? So you would need to
Yes.
have
So
APNS in
uh,
place, and then you would
correct. So
enable the AD. Okay.
yeah, the process of what is the difference between DEP? DEP is for device enrollment, and
Mhm.
APNS is your something which enables your Sure MDM or any MDM to be ready for getting any Apple device. So whether it is iPad, iOS, your tvOS, or MacBooks, anything from Apple can only be enrolled once you sign up for Apple you push certificate portal. And once you sign up, you can have that particular detail ready, that certificate uploaded, and your Apple ID uploaded, and then
Got
your
it.
device will be ready. And for VPP, it comes under a section called payments and billing. So whenever you are dealing with payments and billing, sorry, I was trying to log in two places. Apple is very secure in that terms. I'll have to
Mhm.
close this one. And whenever you go into payments and billings, it will give you a management token for your application, so that you can add it and you can create the details right away from over here.
Got it. Got it.
So yeah,
And
you
then
can
very
download the
quickly,
token.
just
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. And then very quickly, just for those who are not familiar with supervised devices, I think you covered it in one of the previous sessions, but
Yes.
I guess for those who are familiar with Android, it would be a very close equivalent to fully managed device owner. Am I correct in saying that?
Signature application, I would say,
Okay.
a combination of device owner and enterprise agent signature. And
Okay.
you when you have enterprise agent signature, you do have a lot of things unlocked onto your devices.
Yeah.
Like you can push some configuration, like mobile data should always be on, and etc. Similar kind of restrictions apply. In
Okay.
case of Apple, it is more broader. It covers like everything related to, let's say, uh, uh, adding the websites or allowing the applications or single application
Yeah.
mode. And if I go into device restriction, it pretty much covers everything, whether you can
Yeah.
enable the camera or FaceTime or Siri or call recording, these kind of options. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe a good point also, just now that you're showing it for everybody who hasn't used this, we do identify every single one of those functions. You'll see they're marked on Saurav's screen at the moment as supervised. So those that are marked as supervised are obviously not available, only available on a device that has gone through the supervision process on enrollment. So good. Cool. I'm having a quick look to see if there's any questions, Saurav. I think either everybody is stumped or or you covered it all. So thank you. Please, for anybody who still wants to ask anything, feel free to send that along. Yeah, we'd be happy to cover them before we let go of Saurav. While I'm doing that quickly, I'm going to hop over onto just the next slides. Let me a quick reminder also for those of you who need to chat to Gabby or Chris or anybody in our partner marketing team. They're available on partnermarketing@42years.com, and then tech support, as I've said a couple of times, available via a number of methods. One of which is the tech support at 42years.com email address, and obviously they're available to our customers and to our partners on a 24/7 basis. So please feel free to reach out to the guys. I don't see any questions, Saurav, so I think you're getting off lightly this time around. But thank you. It was really interesting, and some of that was very new and what I wasn't familiar with either. So thank you. I've learned something also.
Perfect.
Good. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We will see you again on the 17th of September. So